And now we move into the next phase. So remember this part. Breakthroughs, for every breakthrough, follows the same pattern. It's a two-stroke engine. Like I said, if you feel this feeling of I can't, or like it's very heavy on me, you're pushing into pain because you're losing control. And you're forging new capabilities by doing that. You're having new thoughts, you're making new decisions and new actions. So it's not fun doing the same thing for hours, but you're training, you're learning, yeah? So you're doing something differently. And then the breakthrough. The breakthrough doesn't come but from grinding harder, yeah? It comes the moment after you break, after you understand it to 90%, and then like you just need this little push. For example, if you play a game, what did I do and I couldn't move on? I watched a YouTube video. And what did I saw there in the YouTube video? That this guy, he was moving the character completely different than I was doing. And then I had a breakthrough and I was like, aha, this is how it works, right? Because my brain wasn't wired to do that, actually. So I had to see it from somebody else. And once I saw it and saw him seeing success, fully doing that, I saw the possibility for me. And I took the action, I repeated it, and what? I won. So then in doing this, the new reality crystallizes. So it's very important, like not to have this only internally going out. You need to have this action. You need to take it out from inside to outside into the material world. This is the world we're living in. And it has to crystallize. Everything what we see here, like Dubai is a perfect example. It's the crystallization of thought of our leader here. So of one great person and multiple great persons. And this is a crystallization of what they had in their mind. Believe about it. Think about it. That's what it is. So learning to drive, I don't know if anybody has here, anyone here has a driving license yet? You, me? Yeah, here. So you relate to that. But for the rest who are still learning to drive, in the beginning, it's very hard. You have to think about it and you're thinking about like, how do my parents drive so easily, right? You have to care about the speed, about the signs, about the other people looking in the mirror and so on. But eventually, after a couple months, 3 months, 4 months, your brain doesn't even think about it. Your brain is actually in a not very active state when we're driving. We're almost falling asleep actually. So that's also like a funny paradox. But like eventually it clicks. Or same like with brushing your teeth, right? Maybe some remember it. I remember that when I was small, like brushing my teeth, like somehow I remember that, but it was very hard. Now I don't even think about it anymore, right? So same thing, literally. So, and same like with the game. I remember playing in 2007 World of Warcraft, and like we're trying to beat the boss, to destroy it. Didn't work out. And then we figured out this one move with 30 people together, and suddenly it worked out. But we had to learn, we had to adapt. First, we brought him to 25% of his life power, then to 50, then 12, and we failed multiple times. And over 4 weeks, we tried to beat him, and then eventually it clicked. So just trying harder doesn't work, right? We are pattern recognition machines. So remember that new patterns are breakthroughs. So you have to recognize, you have to reflect. That's super important, because with just more effort won't bring you anywhere. And now, I said before, your coherent prison, remember that, has a physical address in your brain. So it's there. When your brain is in prison mode, like the amygdala, that is the pretty much in the center here, is overactive. Yeah, this is the amygdala is basically the thing that fires when you see a spider. Everything goes off, or like a snake or some animal, and you are like, whoa, what is happening here? Like danger. And the DLPFC, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, that's the part here that is important, that is needed to make decision, is underactive. So the result is you're stuck, anxious, you can't plan escape, or you can't move forward, or you are frustrated about your most hated subject. Basically, same thing, because we can't differentiate between if it's a spider or just a negative thought about like I can't do this, I hate it. Like if you have this internal dialogue already, you're firing this system. Pretty important. So if you're in architect mode, I don't like it, but I can master it. I will change how I look at it. I will observe how I feel. I will change my perspective on that. And I understand that just I have different talents, different skills, but not this skill. But I need to, my brain is basically not wired in the right way, because cells that fire together, wire together. The subject I hate is basically because, first of all, it's not my interest. Second of all, I don't see maybe a sense about that. So like I have to push into that and basically see it as a challenge to rewire my brain a little bit. And out of that, there might be a very good outcome. Unexpected outcome. And that's a tectonic shift. Yeah, your physical rewiring. You're not just thinking differently, you're literally rewiring your neural hardware. So, and here's an important part why language is so important. Depression, for some people, it feels inescapable. So, overactive, this is a lot more abstract, but basically the thing is, it's a little bit similar. So, overactive, amygdala is firing, you can't make decisions, and if somebody says to you, just think positive, it will not change anything. Or if your parents tell you, learn more, learn harder, yeah? If they tell you this, maybe some of your parents tell this and you're thinking, yeah, if you would just know. Or like, it's not that easy, basically. I learn a lot. Sorry, it's still not easy for me. It's the same thing, because it's not receptive, because it's not within your syntax and semantics. So that's why having the right language is super important. So here's the science behind it. Your brain is a rendering engine. So if you see like a game engine and a brain rendering, reality is basically your brain is like a game engine, like Unity or Unreal Engine. Yeah, it's rendering a version based on the code it's running. Change the code and change what you experience. So again, why it doesn't think positive just doesn't work, because you have to create resonance, and it has a lot to do with your semantics and your syntax. So it has to, in a certain way, you have to overcome and push, kind of like a little bit like a goal, for example. Yeah, like it shouldn't be unattainable, but at least like the 10-20% it should stretch you. And this is how you should talk to yourself, and it will feel uncomfortable. Like, observe yourself tomorrow. What about your inner dialogue? What inner dialogue that you have, basically. Okay. And think about like, what words would I normally don't choose? Talk to yourself differently and observe how that feels. So you need to upgrade the engine and not just the graphic settings, right? And this creates, from a scientific perspective, we call that a structured experience. What we experience is our structured experience. And it consists of cultural upbringing, how we are raised, the language, the different languages, friends, family. And this creates our reality. Your reality is different than my reality. The only thing where we agree is basically about a shared reality, is basically what we both see at the same time and what we both argue this happened.